Dear students, today we study the drama The Tempest, written by William Shakespeare, Act 1, Scene 2, and Part 1. Due to its length, Act 1, Scene 2 is treated in two sections. This is the longest in the play, and in this part we discuss Prospero's tale to Miranda, introduction of Ariel. This provides a flashback to previous events by explaining how the play's current situation came to be. Let us go to the summary of the scene. Prospero and Miranda stand on the shore of the island, having just witnessed the shipwreck. Miranda entreats her father to see that no one on board comes to any harm. Prospero assures her that no one was harmed and tells that it is time she learned who is and where she comes from. Miranda seems curious, noting that Prospero has often started to tell her about herself but always stopped. However, once Prospero begins telling his tale, he asks her 3 times if she is listening to him. He tells her that he was once Duke of Milan and famous for his great intelligence. Prospero explains that he gradually grew uninterested in politics, however, and turned his attention more and more to his studies, neglecting his duties as Duke. This gave his brother Antonio an opportunity to act on his ambition. Working in concert with the King of Naples, Antonio usurped a Prospero of his dukedom. Antonio arranged for the King of Naples to pay him an annual tribute and do him homage as Duke. Later, the King of Naples helped Antonio raise an army to march on Milan, driving Prospero out. Prospero tells how he and Miranda escaped from death at the hands of the army in a barely seaworthy boat prepared for them by his royal subjects. Gonzalo, an honest Neapolitan, provided them with food and clothing, as well as books from Prospero's library. Having brought Miranda up to the date on how she arrived at their current home, Prospero explains that sheer good luck has brought his former enemies to the island. Miranda suddenly grows very sleepy, perhaps because Prospero charms her with his magic. When she is asleep, Prospero calls forth his spirit, Ariel. In his conversation with Ariel, we learn that Prospero and the spirit were responsible for the storm of Act 1, Scene 1. Flying about the ship, Ariel acted as the wind, the thunder, and the lightning. When everyone except the crew had abandoned the ship, Ariel made sure, as Prospero had requested, that all were brought safely to shore but dispersed around the island. Ariel reports that the king's son is alone. He also tells Prospero that the mariners and boatswain have been charmed to sleep in the ship, which has been brought safely to harbor. The rest of the fleet that was with the ship, believing it to have been destroyed by the storm, has headed safely back to Naples. Prospero thanks Ariel for his service, and Ariel takes this moment to remind Prospero of his promise to take 1 year off of his agreed time of servitude if Ariel performs his services without complaint. Prospero does not take well to being reminded of his promises, and he chastises Ariel for his impudence. He reminds Ariel of where he came from and how Prospero rescued him. Ariel had been a servant of Sycorax, a witch banished from Algiers, that is Algeria, and sent to the island long ago. Ariel was too delicate a spirit to perform her horrible commands, so she imprisoned him in a cloven pine. She did not free him before she died, and he might have remained imprisonment forever had not Prospero arrived and rescued him. Reminding Ariel of this, Prospero threatens to imprison him for 12 years if he does not stop complaining. Ariel promises to be more polite. Prospero then gives him a new command. He must go, make himself like a nymph of the sea, and be invisible to all but Prospero. Ariel goes to do so, and Prospero, turning to Miranda's sleeping form, calls upon his daughter to awaken. She opens her eyes and, not realizing that she has been enchanted, says that the strangeness of Prospero's story caused her to fall asleep. Let us go to the scene at a glance. We will continue the scene.